They like to call him diva receiver. That's what they like to call him. I don't know about you, Dibs. When I think of a diva, I think of Larry Krueger.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Hi, Larry.
What? My guys.
Yo.
What's up, you diva?
Man, kind of a rough couple days. I'm like Shanahan. It's like, I don't know if I can watch that film yet.
Are you being driven around by a hired driver again, or what's the situation right now? Paint the picture.
I'm actually in Concord, California, getting ready to coach my youth baseball team.
Oh.
We have lots and lots and lots of rules to coach out here in Pleasant Hill, by the way. So I've had, you want training, sexual harassment training, done it. CPR training, done that.
Yeah.
I've done all the trainings, and I think there's about 17 of them. I've got like 6 different passwords and codes.
Oh
and
my God, Larry!
Passwords.
And I don't want to make this too much about you and I, but to be honest, that is about 70% of the reason why I'm no longer coaching.
Oh, dude, it's
because
I agree.
They draw. I mean, it's all good, and yes, the harassment and all of the other trainings and all of that. Yeah, it's like by the time you get through all the trainings, it's like I don't even want to do this anymore.
Like I have 4 appointments at the county clerk office right now. Like, what are we doing? Well, anyway, good luck with that, Larry. What about this?
I have noticed, by the way, I have noticed a little change in your guys' behavior.
What do you mean?
And I'm really close to, blowing the whistle on one of you guys.
What do you mean?
Actually.
What's the behavioral issue?
Come at me, Krug.
Well, I just feel like you guys are, just a little different than you were last time we spoke, and that's one of the telltale signs of something wrong going on at home.
Got it.
So I may have to investigate.
Well, there's plenty going wrong at home. I can tell you all about that. But anyway.
I'm elbow deep in diapers and diaper wipes.
No joke.
There you go. See, something's wrong at home. I can tell. I have this sense now, this spidey sense.
You say stop whopping me. I tell her stop pooping me.
But she's very cute.
Yeah, she's adorable. Thank you, Larry.
That's so gross.
Granny didn't like that.
All right. Larry,
yes.
Did you feel like today's proceedings made it more likely that Brandon Aiyuk is not on the team next year?
Well, he was very emotional at his locker. I don't know if you saw that scene.
We did. Yeah, we saw it. That was crazy.
Very emotional. And then that's on the heels of his brother putting out stuff that maybe he wants to be in Vegas and maybe he's not going to be here. He said he wants to be here as long as everything's, copacetic. And then when he was asked to explain that, he said, well, as long as we're competing for championships and why wouldn't you be competing for championships? So and then there's the bigger question, guys, that you guys are all real, you understand the game. You're going to spend $50 million potentially on 2 wide receivers on a football team that was 32nd in the league in pass plays. I don't know that makes a lot of sense. So they've already paid Debo. I don't think they can trade him. He's damaged goods at this point. You want to re-sign JJ based on his playoffs, and then you got Aiyuk, who you got to have back. But I don't know if something may have to give here.
And I think that's it, Larry. And Mark and I were just having this discussion during the break, and we talk a lot about 21 personnel, and you do 2 wide receivers, and Jawan Jennings is a guy who can block really well, and you could probably get him for a third of the cost of Brandon Aiyuk. And we also talked earlier about what Tyreek Hill commanded in terms of a trade and how KC was able to completely reshuffle their roster in one move. It feels more and more like that's going to be the way the Niners go about this.
Yeah, I mean, if you said to most Niner fans, Dibs, hey, do you want Aiyuk back? I mean, you wouldn't even get the question out. And they'd be like, hell yeah, we want him back. So all Niner fans want Aiyuk back. I mean, we all know that what he's worth and that he's a really good player. And he's not a diva. He fits the culture, so on and so forth. But I mean, how you got to get serious at some point about this offensive line. And, if you want J.C. Latham, who's just a plug-and-play right tackle from Alabama, or a Talieisi Fuaga, who's a beast from Oregon State, those guys are going to be gone around 15. And if the Raiders would give you the 13th pick in the first round for Aiyuk in a package, maybe you got to consider it. I mean, I'm just saying, it's how are you going to get better? on that offensive line if you keep picking in the 30s and all the top offensive tackles go in the top 20.
I mean, just reading what you're saying and the tone you're using, I mean, if you're running this team, are you trading Brandon Aiyuk? It sounds like you're a yes.
I mean, I got to get the right deal, Mark. I mean, I don't know that I would, the players, you got to remember this, the players are more valuable than the picks because there's a failure rate to the picks.
Right.
So you can't just trade Buckner for a pick and then take a chance that Kinlaw's Buckner because Buckner was special. So you fall behind if you keep trading special players for singular picks. But if I could, let's say it was the Raiders because they have a desperate need at wide receiver. If they would give you the 13th pick and Michael Mayer, I might consider it. If they would give you a second or third round pick, maybe you threw another player in there. I mean, if you could grow the deal and get a couple of picks or players, I don't know that I want to trade Brandon Aiyuk straight up for the 13th pick in the draft.
Yeah, you probably want more than that. And looking at what Tyreek Hill got, and I know he's not Tyreek Hill, he's not quite to that level, but they got 5 picks back in that trade. But when you're looking at the shortcomings, Larry, from the Super Bowl, where do you pinpoint it? Is it as easy as Mahomes was just too good, or do you look at areas where the Niners clearly needed to be better?
Well, it sounds like such sour grapes to not credit your opponent, especially when your opponent is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, two guys that are going to be in Canton, right? I mean, doesn't it come across as kind of sour grapes to not credit them? But man, the 49ers, they were so close, and there's so many different points that you could argue or point out where it could have gone in their direction. I don't know. I fight this every time they fall short in a big game. It's like balancing, giving your opponent credit with also not letting your team off the hook as just like, oh, well, at some point they're going to have to actually win one of these big games.
Larry, you think Steve Wilks is the defensive coordinator next year?
I don't. Now, I know Shanahan said he thought all the coaches would be back, but then when he was asked further about Wilks, he seemed to kind of say, hey, this is going to be a discussion for a future day. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like one, they butted heads. Two, he publicly kind of outed him after the Jordan Addison zero coverage play late second quarter against the Vikings. That couldn't have sat well with them. Then you look at, the football coaching card of Steve Wilks, and there's like 22 stops in or 20 stops in 23 years or something like that. So he moves around a lot. So, I mean, yet they don't get any compensation for him unless he stays one more year. But I don't think that will be the determining factor necessarily. So my guess is that he's moves. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I was in the same mindset. I'm going to need you to explain your idea for backup quarterback, Larry, because I almost had him come to your house and do a wellness check because you're advocating advocating just whom to come in and pressure Brock Purdy. Please explain.
No, I'm just saying that, Darnold's gone.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And then the question is, I think Brandon Allen's coming back. And I talked to Brandon during the Super Bowl, and he's eager to come back. So he's going to be back. But is he the 3, or are you going to get a rookie to be the 3? I think they'll probably look for a young player who either in the draft or a young veteran who's failed somewhere else and wants to be here the same way Darnold and Allen kind of wanted to be in the Shanahan system. And I suggested Zach Wilson, but I know there's a lot of people that are anti-Zach Wilson. But I could be, that's just an example of the kind of player that I'm talking about. A young veteran player who has talent that once upon a time people thought was going to be really good. I mean, Steve Young and I both are of the belief, because we talked about it, that Kyle really likes Zach Wilson. And that Zach Wilson, I know, would love to be a 49er. And I know Niner fans read that or hear me say that and go, dude, you're high, you're crazy, you're nuts, this and that. But, it's all about who can you get. And a guy like Zach Wilson was looking for a reset. I'm sure he'd love to be in Shanahan's stable.
Yeah. I mean, there's the whole, like, he sucks part, but if we can get past that.
We move past that, Mark.
Right?
Get over that.
No, I mean, come on, Larry sucks.
Well, I mean, there have been other guys who sucked and then didn't suck.
Name one who sucked this bad and then didn't suck.
Oh, my God. Vinny Testaverde? How terrible he was.
He didn't.
Oh, here, you want here?
When did he look like Zach Wilson?
I'll give you another one.
All right.
Steve freaking Young.
He never looked like Zach Wilson, Larry.
Go look at the numbers, Mark. He was terrible.
The dude got drafted, and he was immediately in the news for doing things with other players' moms or something. Like, what are we talking about? He's a disaster.
No. Well, he did make some terrible mistakes, and that's not one of them. The mistake that he really made was basically just not owning his failure to the New York media and letting him filibuster on him for, a month or whatever. I mean, that was a mistake. I mean, anytime your teammates are, I'm not saying it's like I'm on some pilgrimage to get Zach Wilson. I'd be happy with any number of failed guys. You want Davis, what's his name? The backup to
Davis
Stroud
Mills.
and Davis Mills. Yeah, Davis Mills might be interesting.
I love it when we're going after people who you refer to as what's his name. Like that's hey,
what's his name?
Let me ask, why is Darnold definitely gone? He's done what to earn what? No one's going to make him their starter.
Well, because he came here this year with the idea that he was going to play, and he has not. He did not play. And now this year when he did not play,
week 17,
but I mean he basically didn't play. And so I just think that Brock kind of established himself this year, and I don't think it looks like Sam's going to play anytime in the near future. I think Sam might get a better offer.
Yeah, you pump fake me there. That's on me. I false started like Trent Williams.
Stop pumping me.
Yeah, exactly. How desperate are they now for linebacking help with Dre Greenlaw looking at 9 months with the Achilles, and Oren Burks is unrestricted, and so is Flanagan Fowles?
I mean, they're not desperate because they got these two really good young linebackers named Jalen Graham and Dee Winters. It would have been nice to actually see these guys out there. I'll make a prediction this year for next year. There's going to be a game where Jalen Graham has over 10 tackles, and people are going to say, well, why didn't Jalen Graham play at all last year? So Jalen Graham's a really good player.
Why didn't he play at all this year?
It's a great question. I mean, they just basically redshirted him. And I think it was a bad decision. I think if they had played him a little bit, they could have had a healthy Dre Greenlaw in the Super Bowl. Instead, they played Dre. They rode Dre Greenlaw until the wheels fell off, and then didn't have him for the Super Bowl.
Larry, it was not a great question because it was a hypothetical.
It was Larry's question, and it was a great question.
It was a hypothetical, and you're complimenting yourself.
I'll take the credit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I've been known to do that.
Scoreboard, I'll take it.
Hey, man, what'd you think overall of, for instance, third down, Chris Jones comes flying through. Juwan Jennings is open. Brock can't really get it to him or doesn't, overthrows him. Aiyuk's got the end zone to himself. Spencer Burford went the wrong way. Play like that in a moment like that, where does your head go as far as what went wrong and the blame?
No, I mean, it just makes my stomach turn. I mean, you've allowed this one player to just be the world's greatest defensive player and beat you every single time. I mean, I don't care what the protection is. You're going to leave Chris Jones with a free run at Brock Purdy in the biggest play of the game in the red zone? I mean, God, Spencer Burford, my goodness. It's like you're going to combo block somebody with Brendel and let Chris Jones run free. That's why Burford probably just didn't ascend the way we wanted him to this year. He regressed. He had a good rookie year. He was fourth round pick. He played way more than most fourth round picks. But that was just inexcusable. And then Feliciano, sadly, went to the aid of McKivitz and kind of covered him. And then Burford jumps in on Twitter, really, and is like, "Bro, now Now he looks like an idiot. The Feliciano looks like a bad teammate, and he's now apologizing. What a mess. What a freaking mess. I mean, bottom line is they need real offensive line help. They need a real injection, not 15-year vets, not day 3 picks. They need to invest real draft capital, round 1s and 2s and 3s, in 2 or 3 really good offensive linemen and build this thing up. Yes, and their O-line is just not good.
Especially with Trent Williams now down to the last couple of years in his career, you need to find the successor in that left tackle spot. Larry, what'd you make of the overtime decision by Kyle Shanahan to take the ball as opposed to deferring in hopes of getting that third possession that never happened?
I mean, I love Kyle Shanahan. I'm not one of these guys that, fire Kyle Shanahan and everything's Shanahan's fault and blah, 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 blah. I think he's a really good coach. I think they're fortunate to have him. That's a major gaffe. And this whole we wanted third. No, you didn't. You wanted second. You can't play for the third possession in overtime. I mean, I just don't believe. I think that's a coverall. We talked to our analytics people, and then Juice said, "Hey, we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know the rules." And then today he came back. Well, no, wait a second. Did I say yesterday we didn't know the rules? Today we did know the rules, and we did talk about it. And Armstead said, "Hey, we had no idea until we looked at the scoreboard what the rules were." So I hate to say it, but if you ask me what I think happened there, I think the Niners felt like if they'd taken the ball and scored a touchdown, that they would have won. And I think they probably would have reacted like they won, which would have been embarrassing too. So I don't think, I'm sure Schneider, the special teams coach, knew the rule. Purdy was very convincing in the locker room when he said that Brian Griese went over the overtime rules in the playoffs and how it's different than the regular season. So he claims that he was in the know. But I guarantee you there was 35 to 40 guys on that team that would have thought that if you had asked them on the sideline, hey, if we score a touchdown here, is the game over? They would say, hell yeah. So and that wasn't the rule. So in that situation, you want the ball second, not first, not third, second.
Just admit that if the Niners had deferred, and the Chiefs had scored, and then the Niners had scored, and then the Chiefs got the ball and only needed a field goal, just confirm you'd rip Kyle Shanahan.
No, first of all, I wouldn't. I mean, first of all, I wasn't going to rip Kyle Shanahan regardless, because you're talking about a dynasty. You're talking about Mahomes and Reed, and I don't care what the odds makers said. The Chiefs are a formidable opponent. They're the team, and he's the quarterback of this era. You got the feeling that he's the protagonist in this story, and everybody else is a sub player. So no, I was not going to rip Shanahan on that. That wasn't in my game plan.
Larry Krueger with us on Willard and Dibs. Larry, we're going to let you go, but not before you scream for 17 seconds about Jorge Soler.
Yes. I am so finally excited that Farhan has decided to get off the ground and actually add a player that somebody has heard of. And I love it. I think Soler's going to hit 30 bombs. I think he can play a little right. He can DH. He makes them watchable in a lot of ways. I love that move. I love the Amir Garrett move. It's so funny because Franny ripped me last year when I suggested, hey, Amir Garrett, the Giants like Amir Garrett, and they should go get him. And he's like, oh, that's ridiculous. Oh, the worst move of all time, one of these Twitter battles. And, and then all of a sudden, you know what? Looks like Krug might have got one right.
Krug. There
Krug, doggy dog.
Only Larry could rip the 49ers for getting into a Twitter feud and then explain about how he once got into a Twitter feud. All right, Larry, great to have you. Say hi to your driver.
Hey, Little League, passed all the protocols. I've got my badge. I'm ready to coach.
Do you
Nice.
have your standard issue baseball pants that you have to wear as a coach?
No, I'm gonna pretend I'm Connie Mack. I'm gonna wear a suit.
All right.
I'm gonna wear a
Nice.
suit.
And
All right.
have you been trained on how to operate an AED, Larry? That's the big question.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I'll give it to you off the air. It's
Look at
the
you.
artificial electronic defibrillator, which
I just want to say right now, if I ever go to any of these games and I see anybody that looks like Dan Dibley hanging around the snack shack, I'm calling the authorities.
Lock him up.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be
that's
there with
right.
shin guards and a
Lock
mask
him
on,
up.
squeezing your pitcher on everything close to the corner.
You probably would.
Yeah, oh, he definitely would.
After this
Probably would.
conversation,
Definitely
I'm
would.
definitely getting assigned to your little league.
He teed up a 10-year-old over the weekend, Larry. He teed him up.
he?
Yes, true story.
This kid had it coming to him. Disrespect
You know,
me.
sometimes there was a kid one time I was umpiring a game. I was in the 6th grade. I was umpiring maybe I was in the 8th grade. I was umpiring like a 4th grade game, and a kid got hit one out of Crocker Amazon. And they had a little fence in front. But anyway, he gets to second base, Dibs. He picks up his helmet, and he hurls it into the outfield.
No.
Yes, I called him out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He-
That's automatic.
He went bananas. His parents went bananas.
You can't call him out. You could throw him out, but he's not out.
Oh, he's out. Yeah,
you can't do that. You
Read
guys
your
are
rule
so
book.
wrong.
you cannot remove your helmet and this is Little League, you cannot remove your helmet when you were on the base pass intentionally. You're out.
How do you know it was intentional? Maybe
Because he hurled it in the outfield.
Big gust
He
to
hurled
win.
it.
Big gust to win.
to win.
All right, Larry, we have
right,
to
Larry.
go.
Hey, you guys are the best, man.
All right, Larry.
Keep kicking butt and taking names.
Yeah, that's how
Right
we
on,
roll,
Larry.
brother.
Yeah.
You're
All
on top.
right. Okay.
You guys are on top, looking down at everybody else.
Yeah.
Better go win that game tonight or don't call back.
Hey, I'll be filling in Friday. So me and Guru, I think, or me and Steiny.
You don't even know what you're doing. All right. We'll see you maybe.
Maybe.
All
Oh,
right.
is there a song? Is there a song without See You Maybe?
No, that's Call Me Maybe. Larry, time to go.
Also, while we're talking schedule
Yeah.
stuff, next Monday, while you two jabronis are off, it'll be Mark Grandy and Larry filling in.
Whoa!
You're welcome.
The Grandy man can.
You tried to make me
Yeah.
feel bad about that, but boy, I don't. I don't at all.
So you should
Grandy,
thank Larry.
and Grandy may be wearing a Lou Gehrig jersey. So just
Nope.
no.
Nope. He already said he's wearing a Jorge Soler jersey.
Oh, there you go.
Or an Amir
I'll be wearing a
Amir
Jorge
Garrett
Soler.
jersey, whoever the hell that is. All right, thanks, Larry.
Later.
All right, bye.
There he
There
goes.
goes Larry Krueger, who
goes
got
Larry
his
Krueger.
Giants. He got his Giants mojo back.
Yeah. And
he
you got
did.
your mojo back too. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
Come on.
You texted the group thread about, or Grandy did
10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sluss broke it. What was she doing? Did you see Bags came in and he's like, I'd love to try to confirm this, but it's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late at night. He's like, but Slusser's very trustable, so leave it. So
Under the cover of darkness,
Yeah.
Farhan,
Jeff
act like you care about PR a little
Jeff
bit.
Passan comes in the next day.
Farhan.
Yeah. 3 years, $42 million. Susan Slusser first.
Good.
Nice job, Sluss.
Yeah.
Get him.
A little 1030 sluss.
Get him. Sluss bomb.